What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Aquascape tutorial. So behind me is my home aquarium. I'm at my home. This is the only tank now that I've got at my house. Now, like a builder or a cleaner, their own homes are either broken or dirty. It's no different for me. As you can see behind me, it looks like a plant explosion's gone off in this thing. Everything's crazy healthy and there's no algae on anything, but it's massively overcrowded. Now, hear me out. I did this on purpose, kind of. So here we are, guys. Look at this plant bomb. It might be quite hard to pick out like the light and dark areas because it's black around here and then the light is just piercing through the gaps. Now have a look at those background plants though. Those are Amazon swords. They're the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀. I don't know how to say it. But anyway, I've been keeping them growing for quite a while, and that is so that I could put them in the Amazon tank, and I knew the Amazon tank wasn't be ready for a while, so I just had to sort of stay put and let it be as it is. Now we're at a point now with the Amazon tank where I can take those out and then continue on to rescape this tank. And here is the tank now without those swords in. Look, I mean, you can just see how much room they were taking up and how much light. It looks pretty good, to be fair, but I'm not going to keep it like this. I want to redo it again. Way too much like soil migrated to the foreground. I want to do something really simple in here so that my wife and I can just enjoy it and just leave it to maintain itself. I don't want stem plants and big growing plants. I'm happy with 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀, but I'm going to arrange it in such a way that it looks really good. Anyway, that's all to come. But first of all, we need to empty the whole tank out. It's going to take a while, so I time lapse. That took way longer than expected. It's so much harder to work on sort of tanks that aren't rimless, which is what I'm used to. And the tank, look, there's a few scratches. It's pretty old now. It's seen better days, but you know, it's a decent tank. It looks tidy in this room with matching, you know, furniture and stuff. Anyway, so basically what I'm going to do with this one is my wife really likes the discus aquarium, which is basically hardscape and then epiphyte plants that stick onto the hardscape only. So I'm going to go for that and give it like that sort of reefy look, but with fresh water and you know, nice and open around the edges, around the back, loads of swim room. Yeah, that should look pretty good. Right, I think that looks pretty cool. I've got like a big sort of exploding island, if you like. So I've gone for height, covering the whole area, and then big gaps at the side for a nice big amount of flow. This one looks like it's a little bit low, but it will have big ferns on it in this section, you see. So that's why I planned for that. The lone rock as well, that's going to have ferns and 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑆 on it. So we've got tons of 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑆. And we've got tons of Java fern as well, so we're going to be using all of those on this scape. It's going to look really good, really thick and full and dense straight away from the get-go. I don't know what the get-go is. But yeah, I don't even actually need to glue any of this because obviously it's all waterlogged fully and that's all kind of locked in place there, so we're all good. I can literally just start attaching plants really. First of all though, I just want to put in the substrate that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using ADA La Plata sand for this one because it's the light on this one is 6,000 Kelvin, I think, which means it's got a slight yellowy hint to it. So you need to go for a more lighter substrate to then make it look not too yellow. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I hope you know. You'll see in a minute anyway. Okay, hardscape complete. Now it's time for me to start prepping some of those plants. I've got a massive tub down here full of them. Yeah, oh, you can't sit down. Let me turn the light on. Look at that lot. That tub is half filled up. Probably won't need all of them, but you know, I can make sure that I get the best ones. So we have got absolute ton of plants there. Look at that mountain. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to use all that, but you know, we'll select the best stuff anyway. Right, that's plenty of 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀 in my opinion. Next we can move on to some Anubias all in the foreground area. Doodles, what are you doing? Well, it doesn't get much more simple than that, does it? And that's deliberate, obviously, because the tank keeps getting overgrown. Because when I come home from work in the studio, I like, you know, I'm not going to start doing even more stuff on fish tanks. So this is so maintainable. Basically, it's taken a year for most of this stuff to grow double in size. So I've just removed about half of it, to be fair. So back to the sort of starting point. And I really like the look, to be fair. Really, really simple. It's going to show off the fish really nicely as well. And then you just got this little tiny one on its own over here. That's good. It gives a little bit of sort of, I don't know. I always like to do a little outcrop. I just think it really does pull the eye to it after you're initially drawn into the center point, obviously, and then you'll start looking around at the different areas. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I want to get it filled up with water now, so because I don't want these to dry out. I mean, 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀 ferns and Anubias are actually okay for quite a while, to be fair, without being, you know, soaking wet. But I can just get it filled up quickly right now. Oh, that's looking so sweet, isn't it? It's still a bit murky. Obviously, we've just the sand. I didn't wash the sand first because it'll just clear once we get the filters on. And speaking of the filters, it's now time to get the lily pipes fitted. And I managed to find some of these steel style. If I can get no, never mind that. Anyway, steel lily pipes. They'll look really good. Inlet one side, outlet the other side. Yeah, get flow. Oh dear, well, there appears to be quite a lot of gunk coming out the filter. Now, I didn't want to clean the filter out at the same time as changing all of, you know, taking the soil out and all of that. Just let it do its thing. I mean, it's going to blow all that horribleness around for a minute. It'll all clear again and we'll be fine in a bit. Right, again, we're still a little bit cloudy, but it's clearing up nicely. So first of all, we're going to put in the discus fish, and then after that we can put in the awesome community fish. And I've checked the temperature of the tank. It's matching the temperature of the water, which is actually less than it's going to be set at to eventually, but obviously we've lost some heat from this one. You just got to be careful with things like that and make sure that you're on top of it. There we go, the two discus are in. Sunshine's hiding around the back there. So Sunshine is very scrawny. She's actually the oldest fish I've got. I actually got her before George. She come from a bad batch. I lost all of that batch, and she was the strongest one that survived. So, you know, she's not looking great now, but she's been dewormed. She eats well, and you know, you can't do much more than that, to be honest. But she's doing all right. She's doing all right, and George is doing fantastic. Still a lot smaller than my other discus, obviously, but he's still really nice. You know, he's like a small version of those, but a really nice sort of orangey red to him. I'm saying him. I don't even know if it's a he. Anyway, let's get the rest of the fish in. So at the moment, George is constantly out, which is cool. And over here, all the rummy nose are just sort of collecting, that's fine. They can do that to start with. It's not going to hurt, is it? The sand is so bright. Let me just fix that. The rummy nose are schooling, but they're staying in that area at the moment, and that's fine. We can just let them do that for a little bit. So at the top here, look, we've got a single pearl gourami. I did have two. Again, like the stock's whittled down over the last 2 years or so, but it's pretty much the same as when I started. There's flame tetra down there as well, you can see. I did have 4. I've now got 2. They stay together all the time. And I've got 2 Bolivian rams as well. These were ones that were in my angelfish aquarium. I gave all the rest of the fish to my local fish shop, but I wanted to keep the rams, and I knew they'd suit this setup quite well, so I got them too. They're really nice. There's 2 of them in here. I don't currently know where the other one is, but look how nice they are. Now they actually get quite a bit of colour on the Bolivian rams. There you go. Look, you can see from the side on there. Lots of little reds and details coming out. I love them. Look at them. And they just do that. Oh, right behind them, look. 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 catfish. That's a bronze 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. So what else have I got in here? Let's have a little look around. Okay, so over there, look, behind George, excuse me, George. Yeah, behind George, there's 2 albino 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀s. And then look, just appeared here now, we've got a panda 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀 as well. So there's 2 pandas, 2 albino or albino 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀s, and 1 bronze. I did have 3 of every single kind, again, over the years, whittled down. And you can just see underneath there, look, there's our Siamese algae-eater just hiding in the cave. It'll come out and about eventually, but coloured up nicely. All the fish have coloured up really well now, which suggests that they're settling in really, really good. So I'm happy with that. Sunshine, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but is hiding right at the back there. Found her own little sort of spot and seems to be comfortable there for the minute. She's always been one that took time to sort of get used to a new setup, and can be about a week before she starts coming out regularly, bless. But I did feed last night and she came out to eat, which is cool. So she's can't be that scared, can she? So as you can see there, the rummy nose has got proper red noses. That shows that the water quality is all good. It's usually a really good indication. If something's going wrong in the tank, the first thing you'll see is the redness of the rummies, or as my son calls them, the runny nose tetras, because he thinks they've got sore noses and got a cold. So cute, but yeah. So they're looking really good. There's quite a lot of them as well. There must be a good 15 or so in there. But what I'm noticing at the moment is, obviously before, the tank had loads of foliage all over the top section. So the fish were obviously got used to that. They got used to that. And so at the moment they're a little bit sort of freaked out, I guess. But that will change. They'll start swimming everywhere shortly. But to start with, look how simple the scape is. I think it looks really, really good, and just something that we can sit back and enjoy. Definitely need more fish now though. Now we've got all this open space. There's room for some cool schools of something. I don't know, top dwelling fish as well. What do you think? I'm not even sure, to be honest. In case you guys are wondering where all the male and female guppies have gone, because I did have quite a lot in the top section there, I donated them all to my local fish store. They can sell them on and get some decent profit. I mean, endless go for a good value, so it's a win-win really.